Good afternoon and welcome back to My Harlem Portraits, the show that aims at shedding a light on the fundamental contribution of African Americans to the building of this country and on Black excellence. Today we have a very young, excellent producer and actor in the person of Lamar Richardson. Is, as I said, an actor and a producer. Welcome to My Harlem Portraits, Lamar.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you have been selected by awards-winning producers Stephen Byrd and Alia Jones-Harvey's Front Row Production Fellowship in association with Columbia University School of the Arts as the 2022 Front Row Productions Fellow. This fellowship is an annual fellowship. It just started last year, and it has the objective of increasing diversity, bringing major works both to Broadway and the West End, and work that feature diverse casts, creative teams, and management. So not only on the stage, but also behind.
Yes.
How do you feel about having received this fellowship?
It's absolutely an amazing honor. It's such a gift that keeps on giving. I mean, I went to Columbia for undergrad and I graduated 7 years ago. So it's great to be back in a different capacity now. You know, I'm taking classes with the industry leaders from theater owners to producers to general managers. And it's just great exposure. And it's an amazing opportunity to be front and center learning from those who are at the forefront of the industry. So it's really a great honor and privilege. And I cannot thank Stephen and Alia enough for this opportunity.
It's an amazing opportunity. I'm going to go into depth more about that, but I would like to talk a little bit about your career first, because as you said, you studied at Columbia. You were born in New Jersey and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. Then you received the BA from Columbia in 2015. And then as soon as you received that, 2016, you made your regional theater debut as Sylvester in Phylicia Rashad's award-winning production of Ma Rainey Black Button by August Wilson. I mean, starting from the top. Tell me about that.
So, okay, that was just the highlight of my career thus far. I mean, Phylicia Rashad is so gracious, so generous, and I cannot thank her enough. I'm forever indebted to her for starting my career, for believing in me and giving me that opportunity. You know, we met in 2015. We were doing a screenplay reading together, and I was one of the characters in which she was the lead role. And, you know, she saw what she needed to see in me playing that role to then give me an opportunity to go for Sylvester. And, you know, to this day, I just cannot believe that happened. And it was just so great to work with Lillias White, Keith David, Glenn Turman, Jason Dearden. I mean, it was an amazing cast and just a wonderful opportunity to give me a grand introduction into the industry at large.
And I mean, August Wilson, it's the utmost of Black theater.
Yes.
As a playwright, right? So you really started from the very top and with royalty. You're making your Broadway debut, this is another incredible thing, right? You're making a Broadway debut at your age as co-producer in the revival of Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. Yes. Another star-studded thing. Wendell Pierce, Sharon D, Clarke, and Andre the Shield.
Yes.
Royalties in Black theater, in theater again. That's going to be on my bucket list. I haven't seen that. I want to see it now that I know that you're producing it on top of it. So tell me again, how are you dealing with this major production on the most important stage in theater in the world? Tell me, how excited and nervous are you about that?
I mean, even this, it's surreal. I mean, truly, it just goes to show that when you have an idea, when you have a dream, when you have a passion for your life, you just have to really put yourself out there and take the risk, because you never know what can be birthed from that. I mean, a year or so ago, I had the idea of, I want to look into, investing in Broadway, producing Broadway, and just, really wanted to dive into that space. And I reached out to Chris Harper. He was so generous enough to give me this opportunity, and I cannot thank him enough. And Cindy Tolan and the rest of the team at Death of a Salesman is amazing. And it's just been so great. I mean, Arthur Miller is a historic playwright, right? He's like the forefront of the American theater. And for this play that has been to Broadway 5 times previously, this is the 6th time it's coming back, reimagined in this important way at this time. And to be a Black person behind the scenes, above the title as a co-producer, it's just so amazing for visibility, for equity in the theater, and for accessibility. And I am a representation for others who are coming after me to show that, hey, you can do this and there's room for you in this space. So I believe that it's a great charge, and I don't take it lightly at all. I am extremely, grateful, moved. This production is so beautiful. It's reaching so many people. And I just think that, to be coming into this space as a first-time producer, and for this to be my entry into the industry, is just an amazing opportunity.
Well, it's an amazing opportunity that I didn't know, but now you're telling me you created for yourself because you went for it. So this is something very important to say to people, because something like that would scare most people.
Right.
You were not scared.
Right.
That's very beautiful. Tell me a little bit about the production. What can a viewer expect different from the other productions, and what is the ingredient, the Black ingredient? What does it make to this play?
Well, it's really fascinating because the text remains the same. There's
Mhm.
only minor changes for historical context that were made, but in terms of the actual written text, is exactly the same. What's interesting is, to see the historical context of it, right? A Black family in America at that time, what does that represent? What does that mean? So there's key scenes throughout the play that have a new deepened nuance and heightened sense of stakes in it, because, for Black Willie Loman to be doing what he's doing at that time, it just really adds a newfound depth that most people who have seen it before are now hearing the play for the first time in a new way, which is really important. And it's just heartbreaking, right? Because we all know the sacrifices that those who've come before us have had to make. And so to see it, in front of you in real time in something that's so familiar, it's utterly heartbreaking to know how that tragic ending for Willie, what now that represents for him being a Black Willie Loman.
Yes. Yes. Mm. Mm. Very, very, very interesting. And I mean, Andre the Shield, Sharon D. Clarke, Wendell Pierce.
Yeah. It's a tour de force ensemble. I mean, everyone is great. McKinley Belcher, Chris Davis. I mean, everyone that's a part of that show is really doing top level work.
Fantastic. You are currently also producing Africa Browns, a new play which is in development, and it's called The Fight. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so first and foremost, Africa Brown is an amazing playwright. I worked with her 6 years ago as an actor in one of her plays, Slow Bullet, My Three Loves. And she approached me initially to be an actor in The Fight 3 years ago. As soon as I read it, I knew it was a great story, it had to be told. And she made me the offer to come on board as a producer. And essentially, it's set around the Muhammad Ali Joe Frazier fight that takes place in 1971 in Madison Square Garden, and it's set in the Vailsburg section of Newark, New Jersey. And basically, 3 families come together: a Black family, a Puerto Rican family, and a Jewish family, and they come together to watch this fight. And throughout the time of the play, drama ensues based on all the different relationships and dynamics and histories that exist between the 3 of them. And it's just such a timely piece for the current societal culture that we're in right now. And I think that those from all walks of life will be able to see it and see a piece of themselves and their families and their friends and their conversations reflected in it. And I'm just so excited for it to come forward.
Wow. That sounds really, really interesting. When is this going to be put on stage?
Yeah, so we're currently, we've done a couple of workshops and readings. We had a reading in person in April with Daphne Rubin Vega and a
Oh,
couple of other great people. And, now we're just approaching theaters, having conversations and moving forward an actual workshop presentation of it to then have hopefully a commercial world premiere production in 2024 or late 2023.
that's very good. That's very good.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, I'll stay tuned. Keep me posted.
I will.
Definitely want to see that. You also co-founded Ivy Lion Productions. This is an independent production company that focuses on underrepresented voices and wants to produce stories, empowering stories.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yes. So, for years, my wife and I, we've been talking about, opening a production company to really get into the space and to help usher in stories that are about people of color, that are uplifting, that offer a critical lens to shift the landscape for storytelling. And, it just aligned perfectly that when the opportunity for Death of a Salesman came up, I said, okay, we really should get this going and really, get our imprint out there into the industry. And, right now we're starting in a theater space, but eventually it would expand into television and film as well to be a 360 production company that is involved in all different parts of the industry.
Wow. You got a vision.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got a very, very upward and defined vision of what you want to do. And that is amazing.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I mean, yeah, you are shooting for the stars and you're going to reach them.
Yeah, I mean,
I've already reached them, really.
thank you. I mean, ultimately for me, it's just, I'm 10 years into this journey. I came in as an actor that has since evolved to include other things. And ultimately, I just feel this great sense of responsibility, given that I've been afforded such amazing opportunities and exposed to such great people. I feel a calling on my life to be a vessel through which these stories can be told, whether it's acting in it myself or whether it's putting together the resources to produce it. And I don't take that lightly because I know it's a blessing. I'm fortunate to be able to pursue this path because most aren't and most don't have the resources or the capacity. So, it's really just a humbling thing that I hold closely to my heart.
You are giving back, and that's a beautiful thing. And where will this production company be? I mean, as a headquarters here in New York or somewhere else?
Yeah, so for now it's here on the East Coast, and that will expand in years to come. But we're starting right here in our home territory now and seeing where the journey takes us.
Yes, very good, wonderful. My best wishes for all that.
Thank you.
Okay, now I would like to go a little bit more deep into the fellowship because it's a very amazing and important opportunity. And I would like you to tell me, for example, how you obtained that, how you applied for it, or they choose you, how it is your typical day during this fellowship, and what has this given to you up to now? Because we are already into, what, 10 months nearly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit more about that. I know that they give you stipend and then production. Tell someone like you would like to have this opportunity, what do they have to do?
Yeah, so absolutely. So first of all, it's a really extensive application process. You have to write essays, get letters of recommendations, submit your project for consideration that you're going to work on for the year, and then go through an interview process as well, which is really extensive. So for me, I had heard about the Front Row Fellowship in the past. At the time, I was an actor, and I was like, that's great to see that's happening. It's important. It's necessary. And then in the second year, after Death of a Salesman, I said, hey, my background and my training is historically as an actor. If I
Mhm.
want to enter into this production space, I want to set myself up as much as possible to be successful. So it would be in my best interest to, get the tools and learn from the best and the brightest.
Yes.
Exactly. So I said, I'll give it a shot. I'll apply
Mhm.
and see what
To
happens.
lose. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't.
Exactly. There's nothing to lose. So, I did my best shot. I was already at the time working with Africa on the fight. So that was my project for submission purposes. I went in and wrote up the letters or the essays. I got letters of recommendations. Again, shout out to Felicia Rashad because she wrote one for me so generously and graciously.
Wow.
So I cannot thank her enough. And then, I went through the interview process with Stephen, Alia, the former Front Row Productions fellow Marjan, Willette Klausner, and Stephen Shekelson from Columbia University.
Mhm.
And it was a roundtable interview, and they all asked me questions and things of that nature. And then a couple weeks later, I received the exciting news that I was selected.
Wow.
And so the way the program works is it's a fall semester and a spring semester. So I actually just started in September and it goes until May. So in my current semester at Columbia, I'm taking several classes, and it's really exciting because the way the fellowship is designed, you have the opportunity to take any classes that the theater management and producing MFA students are taking. So that's basically a 3-year program at Columbia, and they get a degree. So we have the gamut of classes to select from to choose. And currently, I'm taking a class at the Schubert organization, which is
Wow. Yeah.
one of the heavy
Okay.
theater owners, and it's just great because you get exposure to all of their team. I mean, we had a session with Bob Wankel, the CEO of the company, and it's just such a great experience to hear from these people, get their perspectives, learn about the future of the industry, and just to soak all of that up. Right, it's really exciting. And I'm also taking an accounting class. Yeah, I'm also taking an accounting class at Witham, and then I'm taking the foundational theater management and administration course as well, which gives you a broad scope of what it entails, the nuts and bolts of producing, of general managing, learning the lingo and the dialogue of the industry, the numbers, the grosses, what everything means.
Mhm.
So, I mean, for anyone, I just can't stress this enough. This program is absolutely phenomenal. And even if you apply for a fellowship and can't get a fellowship, I would highly recommend that MFA program as well because it sets you up greatly for industry for a career in the industry that you can't find anywhere else.
Absolutely fantastic. And you also did something with the fellowship, or you're doing something in the UK, right?
Yeah, so we also get to go study abroad for a week in May, and basically even that it's such a great a great thing. You get to go and meet students there, meet industry professionals there, go to programming, see shows. And again, Stephen and Aaliyah are international heavy hitters. Everyone knows them on Broadway. Everyone knows them in the West End. So as soon as I say I'm their fellow, doors open. People are willing to speak to me and give me generals and informationals, and it's just I will never be able to forget this experience.
It's not meant to be forgotten.
That's for sure.
It's meant to base your career. It's
Yeah.
definitely doing it. And what will you be doing in London?
So at the initial time, it's just that week of programming, but through those relationships, you're able to learn about opportunities on the West End, to co-produce on the West End or invest in the West End. And I've already had conversations with others for opportunities in that realm as well, which is really exciting because London is my favorite city in the world.
Oh, really? Oh,
I was just there last week for my birthday, so really exciting.
I lived there for 3 years during college.
Wow.
Well, before 1 year in college and the last year, so in between, because I went
Wow.
to college in Switzerland. And yeah, it was a great city. Amazing
It's
city.
amazing.
Yeah. But I love New York more.
It's the
It's
greatest city in the world, as Hamilton says.
New York is much easier because London is so spread out. So New York is easy. Manhattan. When I mean New York, I mean Manhattan, but it's fantastic.
Right.
So you have additional credits, which include Weird City, Black Terror, James Sweeney's Straight Up on Netflix, and NBC's New Amsterdam. Tell me a little bit about those that you like most, or when you had a problem to solve, and so on and so on.
Yeah, I mean, so acting, it really excites me and it's my number one passion. And it's just great because with each role, you tackle different obstacles. And, for example, with Weird City, Charlie Sanders and Jordan Peele put together such a great future-centric show. And my character was a fraternity brother, and he was hazing one of the lead characters. And it was funny because he was hazing with kindness. So, so, yeah. So it's turning that concept on its head and just overly complimenting someone. And Trevor Jackson from Grownish played the character, so we're just like, oh, I love your sweater, and just all these kind of things. And that was a lot of fun. And then you go to New Amsterdam. I was a victim that just was admitted to the hospital from a crash. So the stakes are through the roof, everyone's rushing in to save our lives. And that was amazing. And then I just did an episode of FBI on CBS recently. And there's the main character, OA, played by Zico Zaki, and he's being ambushed. And then I'm coming in, a businessman, seeing if he's okay, and I saw the whole thing, and I call the cops. So you just never know what you're going to get. It challenges you, it stretches your instrument or your toolkit, and you get exposed to such great people to then say, hey, by the way, I know you guys are filming TV people, but I'm co-producing Death of a Salesman. Come and see the show, tell all your friends, support the theater.
Yeah.
So it all goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. You're doing it 360 degrees. I would like to talk a little bit more about the fellowship, because among the people who mentor within that fellowship, there are some names, okay? And like, for example, Asita Maratuni, Thomas Distler, Jonathan McCrory from the National Black Theatre, Jackie Alexander from the National Black Theatre Festival.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of these encounters, some of these experiences you had with some of them.
Yeah, so it's amazing. I mean, for example, Jonathan McCrory, we're actually having dinner in the beginning of December. And, I've known him for years, but in my capacity as an actor. So now to be adding in this new producerial aspect of it, that's really important. Tamara Tooney, we've been in contact. I saw her at Piano Lessons opening. I also saw her at the Lena Horne dedication ceremony. So that's been great. LaTanya Richardson Jackson, directed Piano Lessons. She's also involved and knows me now. And, again, it's just introducing yourself to all of these people, saying that, hey, I'm the Front Row Productions Fellow. They are willing to meet with you, speak with you, learn about you, connect you to people, see how they can help you. And, it's just insane. I'm also meeting with Nick Scandelios from the Niederlander organization. I mean, I've met with tons of people. Scott Wilcox, as a lawyer, and he's been great. And it's just, again, all these people from all sides of the business, rallying around you to really help and bolster the future of your career. And that is just, it's unprecedented.
Yeah, it is. It must be overwhelming in a sense also.
It's still, I'm still taking it all in and trying to grasp it and say, okay, wow, this is my life right now. This is happening, just taking it all in and grounding myself in it, because it's really a lot of great exposure.
Um, the most difficult obstacle during this fellowship, the things that you had to overcome, if there is any?
So, I mean, you have the year to work on your project, right? And basically you get funding and support from the fellowship and Columbia University to put towards it. You get a $20,000 developmental budget, and then you also get a $10,000 stipend. So for me, in addition to classes, a lot of it is working to get the project to move forward. So, it's a lot of outreach to theaters and taking meetings and pitching and discussing and, really trying to find the right fit for the partnership with it. We're having conversations with a lot of great theaters right now, and a lot of great artistic directors who've been open to receiving it. And, I just can't thank them enough for talking to someone like me who's new to this and really coming into it, and that's been the challenge of really getting that first conversation going. Whereas these people get approached by tons of producers, tons of playwrights and directors, and to really leverage what I have going to get through the door has been the interesting challenge that I am figuring out and making it work as it comes.
It's amazing. This is giving you a biglietto da visita, as we say in Italian. I'm Italian, that no one else could have given you.
Right.
This fellowship, and
Absolutely.
you are making the best out of it.
Exactly.
And not everybody can, because sometimes people get opportunities, but they're not able to grasp them. They're not able to develop them. They're not able to take the most advantage of it. And you seem to be doing that pretty well.
I can't let Stephen and Alia down.
So you can't, and you're not, obviously. So until when is Death of the Salesman running?
Until January 15th.
Good. I have to see it before I leave for Italy then, because I
Yes,
want
please.
Good. Good.
And let me know what you think when you see it. I would love to hear what your thoughts.
Absolutely. I will let you know. I will tell you what. But it's good because now I've done I like to go and see the shows and then interview the people, right? So
Right.
now I've done the interview, so that's perfect. I have a better idea when I go and see the show.
Right.
So thank you very much for this. And to our viewers, go and see Death of a Salesman before it ends on January 15. It's a beautiful way to spend one evening, especially during the holidays.
Yes.
See a beautiful, beautiful play with so many amazing people in the cast who are royalty in Black theater.
Yes.
So thank you for being with us, Lamar.
Thank you.
Spending this time with us, and thank you. And I see you on 12:30 next Saturday, as usual. Bye-bye. Bye, Lamar. Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye.